Just because I love you, it don't mean I trust you. Everybody not to be trusted. Everybody around me thugging. Everybody around me drugging. Everybody around me hustling. Everybody know not to bring no new riggin' around me. They say I be bugging. Got racks in the go-yard luggage. Just cause I love you, it don't mean I trust you. Everybody not to be trusted.
Hey, what's going on, guys? We're back at it again here with Uncut with Q. I am your host today because my brother couldn't be here. He has a couple other meetings, but I am hosting y'all. My name is Tony. I'm his little brother. I am an 18-year-old seller, and this is...
My name is Mele Cruz Bautista. I'm a local realtor here in San Antonio. I'm 21 years old, and I'm also lead acquisitions here with Xfinity Cash Offer.
Yeah. So today's topic we're going to be talking about is just, I guess, young entrepreneurs just trying to get into the game of just business and whatever that will be, wholesaling, drop shipping, any business that you plan on doing as young as we are. To put it in perspective, I am 18 and...
I'm 21.
Mele's 21, and we started here at this office a couple months ago, and we're just trying to get into the groove of things, honestly, and just trying to set ourselves up for life later on, because as you know, we're this young and we have a lot of potential. When you're this young, you always have a lot of potential, isn't that right, Mele?
No, absolutely. Me being young, I'm only 21 years old. I'm very new to the real estate game. There was so much uncertainty. There was so much doubt that I had within myself. But just being in these environments surrounded by just high-performing individuals, it really pulled me out of that funk and allowed me to just envision a future that I know I can have. So how was that for you, Tony? Whenever you first entered into this whole business space, what was the weirdest change in environment for you?
Well, you know, man, when I first got into this game, bro, I was literally 16.
16?
I remember we have conversations in the office, just me and you. I started wholesaling when I was 16. COVID happened, school was out, and I wasn't doing anything. I was just doing regular online school, and I wasn't even doing online school. I was skipping it all the way till the end of the week where it was all due.
Right.
And when I turned 16 finally on my birthday, I went up to Q literally on my birthday and told him, hey, I'm ready to start, right? And he was just like, are you sure you're ready? You know, this is a big journey, and, there's a lot in store for you. And I was just like, I'm ready, just sign me up. So literally that next week, bro, I was at the office. I was at the office. It was at the old office. It wasn't this office.
Right.
Which called the other office. I don't even know where that one was. But I remember going, and the first time I went there, man, I was kind of nervous.
Okay.
I saw a couple people on the phones, and then obviously I saw my brother Leon and Garrett. I don't know, who.
No, yeah.
And they all started talking to me, and then the training started happening, bro. And from just that, and
absolutely.
When you first started, it's literally
just
2
right
weeks.
to it, just right to it.
Yeah, literally actually no, you're lucky because you were watching Keith Everett for a little.
We love Keith Everett.
You that that's a long thing. Hey, Keith Everett, if y'all know who he is, he's a wholesaler, and he's really good at sales. I advise if y'all are looking for I guess teaching, he has a program that you can just buy into and then look at it. That's kind of where I started off, just looking at those videos. But to come back to what I was talking about was at first, bro, literally 2 to 3 weeks, I didn't touch a phone. I didn't start talking to sellers, just watching those videos mindlessly. and at first, me being 16, I'm like, oh, this is boring and all this. And little did I know that those videos really did help me down the line from closing deals like I have had.
No, absolutely. The game that it spits on those programs, they may get boring and they may seem a little repetitive, but they're really just trying to just beat these ideas into your head, from anything from negotiations to just discussing the ending of the contracts with these people. It teaches you how to deal with sellers that have multiple offers, with different personality types, whether it's a highly emotional seller, a very aggressive seller, and anything. Do you remember the other ones?
Aggressive, emotional.
There's the cool, calm, collected.
Yeah, cool and calm. It goes by colors too.
Yeah, absolutely. So
I do remember that, and I do apply all that to my sales tactics. Everyone has a different personality.
Right.
We sit in the office next to each other. We both hear each other, and obviously we both critique each other, which is good. If y'all are starting out wholesaling, I really advise y'all that y'all find a partner that's at the same level with y'all. That is at the same, I guess, level when it comes to just thinking and knowing what you want. Because obviously, us being as young as we are, the influence is crazy nowadays. We're really we really get caught up in peer pressure and just influence, you know, because we're young. Because sometimes like I feel like I'm doing a lot of like, like if I was older.
Right.
You know, if I was older,
right.
if I was like 28, but I'm only 18
like,
and you're only 21.
Hold on, let's put this into perspective real quick. This is an 18-year-old, like young man, fresh out of high school. He just got thrown right into the fire. Just, you know, picking up the phones, dialing, like trying to see if these people are looking to sell their houses. You know, learning about the conditions, like learning about their issues. And like the weirdest part about all this is that we have to almost like pretend like we understand every aspect of it. But the things that like the sellers don't see on the other end of the phone is that we're just kids. We have zero experience when it comes to mortgages, when it comes to loans, when it comes to like all this stuff surrounding like the home or like the house, like it's so crazy to think, but it's really like encouraging us and forcing us to learn every little aspect about it. And just like being in this job alone, it's starting to turn into a bit of a game. You know, you can look at it in a sense of a numbers game. Like I can say I make 1,000 calls in a week, you know, only say 5 of them, 5 to 1, or like I can get a contract out of. And so like once you start to see it into that perspective, it makes you like a little curious. You're like, okay, let's pick up the speed a bit. Let's see what we can do. And it's really wild.
I mean, that's a good thing, man, because we're literally feeding ourselves into this. Like they tell us all the time, because you're 21, I'm 18, we're the youngest people in the office, right? They tell us all the time, you don't know how much potential you have, and we always hear it's always going into our brain. It's like sometimes I sit down at the end of the night and really think like, wow, I am really this young. Like if you're watching this and you're just as young as we are, you need to sit down and realize just how young you are and how much potential you have in the future. So that's why that's what we're talking about, young entrepreneurship, that y'all need to start now. I understand, you know, we're young, you want to have fun. Maybe you're in college, or maybe you're just working and having fun, going to parties, going to clubs. I do the same thing because, you know, you do the same thing too because we're young. And it's all cool at the end of the day, but you cannot stray away from what your goals are, guys. And I feel like that's where our generation messes up. They don't have a set plan or a goal. Nothing can start in your life if you don't know what's at the end of it, or what you want at the end of it. Because if you don't have a goal, then to be honest, you don't really have nothing to live for.
You're just aimlessly wandering around the world. And that's why being in the environment that we are in, like from the age that we're at, is going to propel us to astronomically like greater heights than some of the other people that we've met, or at least went to school with. You know, beforehand, I was pretty aimless. I really didn't know what I was working towards. I just knew that I had to work hard to get something worth living, you know? And so being around like these adults, these people that have made insane figures, you know, started businesses, selling courses, you know, drop shipping, like all of the above is so crazy, but it really like forces me to focus on the path ahead. I know what I want to do. I know where I want to be, and I know how I'm going to get it. Mm-hmm. And I did not have any of that like awareness or that just focus that I did prior. Like, can you say the same?
Yeah, I can say the same thing too, man. Literally, ever since I was 15 all the way to 18, man, it was just high school, you know, different relationships, you know, just doing high school
like
stuff,
hanging out with your friends.
Yeah, like
you know.
Literally at the time, like I didn't realize it. All I was worried about was my friends, the sport I was playing, video games, and the girlfriend I had at the time.
Right.
Like, you know, like, and now we look at ourselves now, because, you know, you were in high school too at one point. We're all been in high school at one point, and we look at ourselves now, and it's like, yeah, we're this young, but we have such a better understanding of all this. And that's why, like, I really advise y'all to invest yourself. If you want to be a young entrepreneur or trying to get into entrepreneurship, you need to realize, my bad, let me backtrack. You need to invest yourself into books. I know it sounds crazy. I've never been a reader. Until just recently, like maybe 2 months ago, I've already read 3 books. And that's the most books I've ever read in such a long time. And like, I've gotten so much knowledge out of that. Would you say for yourself too?
No, absolutely. I remember when I was growing up in school, you know, we always had to read several books for the year. I never read them. I just looked up like Cliff Notes, this and that. And so right before we take the quiz or the test, I would just try to like figure out as much as I could. And then I take it and I would not get a great grade. So after I got out of school and I finally like realized and had the opportunity to get my hands on like the self-help content and just like mindset stuff, it just propelled me into a whole nother world of thinking. Like my awareness completely shifted. And I have to say, like, the lessons that I'm learning from these books, I'm actively applying them each and every single day. And my confidence, my emotions, like the way I handle like relations, the way I like approach work, the way I just like carry myself, even like when it's getting ready for bed, all of it has been shifted because of like the facts that I've been able to acquire from just reading.
Just reading alone.
Reading is
too, man.
huge.
Yeah, because you know what? When we started reading those books before, man, I felt a little unfocused. And when we started investing ourselves in the books, like when we read The Compound Effect, bro, that blew my mind. Y'all, that book is probably like 170 pages long. It's not a long book, but that book literally shifted my life into something that I never thought it would be. Literally now I have a routine. I wake up every morning, go to the gym with my brother. Get here, you know, we literally read a book.
Right.
We read every day. We read a chapter, all of us, and that's one of the more important things. That's why I'm saying that y'all need to have a partner in this, because sometimes it's hard to motivate. Like being as young as we are, motivation just comes in and out of your life, and that's why you need somebody that is at the same level as you. That wants just as much as you do, and you kind of just bounce off each other, like me and Mele. Like we really do bounce off each other. Like we literally, what we're doing right now is literally what we do all the time in the office. Like if we're not making calls and well, we're always making calls, we're always looking at text, but if we have a little bit of leeway in between that, we're talking about something, we're asking each other's questions.
Absolutely.
It's always a good thing to ask questions, guys. Don't ever be scared to ask questions. And at the end of this, we're gonna drop our Instagram tag, so if y'all ever do have questions, and y'all want to, I guess have questions for us, being as young as we are, and if you're young, and even if you're older and you don't know this stuff, I have a pretty basic understanding of it and of this entrepreneurship like stuff that I'm getting involved into at such a young age, and Mele too as well, No,
absolutely. So, I mean, if you guys were interested, you could definitely follow us along on our journey. We're going to start trying to do better about posting content related to our lives, to our work, to our relations, to our family, and all the above. Because would you say building like an online presence and like a social media presence is imperative to this day?
Yes. Like we live in a generation where social media is taking over. That's a sad thing, but it's some people.
I mean, there's positives and negatives.
It's a sad thing, yeah.
Right.
The geezers. No, I'm playing, guys. But some people say it's a sad thing, but people like us, being as young as we are, and social media being like one of the just top things in our generation, like we need to take advantage of those things, guys.
Absolutely.
And if I really advise you're getting into this entrepreneurship stuff early, like we are, that you need to build a presence, because it's all about the compound effect, guys. Little by little by little by little by little, it's going to get bigger and bigger. It's your presence is going to be known as long as you keep doing it. You post a reel every day, or you post an inspirational quote every day, or you're just updating people about what you're doing in life. People are going to start looking at that, and there's a bunch of tools you can use: TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. Like all those things to let people know what you're doing, and this is called networking.
Absolutely.
You know everything about networking.
Absolutely.
You're a realtor. Like, that networking is really important. So I guess my next question for you is, how is it? I know when we first met, you said that you're a realtor, and you even look like a realtor. You came in super fancy, talk like a realtor, and obviously now I know the real you, because you've been here for a couple months,
right?
And we sit next to each other. What I kind of want to, I guess, ask you this: what do you think that I guess what I'm trying to ask is, what is better for you? What is your liking? Is it the realty side, or is it the wholesaling side, the investing side? Or is it like you're trying to intertwine both of them into being something that's greater for you in the future?
So when I first started my journey, I did attend college for probably half a year before I decided, hey, like this wasn't for me. So I made my way back to my family's house, confused and being like, oh, what in the world am I supposed to do? Because my entire life I had just been fed the idea like, oh, I just go to college, get a job, be happy. It's not that simple. So I started to research online about possible ways to make money without having a college degree specifically. One of the main things that came up was wholesaling. So, I started to do a bit more research into it. I watched all the YouTube videos. I tried to find the free courses. I I downloaded the contracts that they had posted on their sites, and I tried to make it work, but there was so much that I was missing and so much uncertainty. So I talked to my parents, and I was like, hey, yada yada yada, I'm not too sure about this, but I want to keep trying. And they actually suggested, well, real estate is just like that, at least, to their perception. They didn't really know too much about wholesaling, about real estate or anything like that. They'd never worked in that industry. But I was like, okay. So next thing you know, half a year went by, I got my real estate license. Then I became a realtor through National Association of Realtors. Yeah. They're always going to be taking my money. And I actually landed at a brokerage called Keller Williams Heritage. Keller Williams is nationwide. It is a massive brokerage, but the reason I chose that specifically was from word of mouth. Everyone I had ever met that had been realtors always said that Keller Williams had the greatest training, training for agents. So, lo and behold, I got my realtor's license. I entered the brokerage, and my training began. It was a lot of headaches, a lot of studying, a lot of notes. And I don't think that my mind was in the right place to be receiving all that information, because I would just get all these little blots of information without connecting the dots to make it make sense for myself. And so while I was sort of in that time when I was doing the training, I just kept moving forward because that's all I felt I could do. And then next thing you know, I'm just out in the real world. Just Mele Cruz Bautista, the young realtor from San Antonio, gonna make it happen.
Yeah, man.
That was not the case at all. Months went by where I didn't make any money because no one stressed the importance of networking. Coming out of high school, I didn't know anyone aside from my family and my friends. No one had ever talked to me about the importance of networking. And so whenever I think of the word networking, the word net worth comes to mind as well. So what I mean by that is if you surround yourself with high-performing individuals and just individuals from all different types of backgrounds, then your life is going to be met with an equal amount of opportunities. So if I only know my family and I only know my friends, then I'll only ever be able to indulge in the opportunities that they provide or I provide to them. But now, once you expand that network, you meet a bunch of different people, you're opening like new doors for yourself. So many doors have been opened ever since I began my journey. I know close to like 1,000 people, like names to faces, and they know me. And it's so weird to think, coming from like the small world that we used to live in as a kid. Do you have any thoughts on networking as well?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's very important, guys, that you know people that could help you. And I understand that, you want to do it by yourself. But the thing is that you're going to do it by yourself, but you're going to run into people while you're doing it by yourself. And you're going to meet people that are, guys, I'm literally surrounded by millionaires all the time. At all times. Me and Mele are surrounded by millionaires all the time. That stuff feeds into us. And it's just like it kind of started just with a decision. That's really what it came down to at the end of the day, that me and Mele decided, we want to work at this office. And then that was our own decision, and we just kept going in our own journey. And in your own journey, you're going to meet new people. And these new people are either going to be beneficial to you or they're going to be not. And obviously you're going to filter them out, but the people that are beneficial to you, keep them, because they could be making you millions of dollars. They can give you knowledge that you never even heard about. So that's why networking is really important. But another thing I wanted to, point out, for being as young as we are, our generation has a big, big, big problem when it comes to time. Guys, let me tell y'all something. And this is coming from my heart. It's not going to happen right now. You think it's going to happen? It could. There's always a possibility that you can make $1 million in a month, or maybe in a year. But you need to realize and put it in your head first that the possibilities of that is probably slim. for being as young as you are, it's not going to happen right now. They say that the average time, if you're working in one craft, right, and working in one business or entrepreneurship, that is going to take you on average, you're working your full hardest. This is scientific proof. It's scientific proof that if you're working your full hardest, man, in 5 years, you'll be a millionaire. That's how long it takes. So if y'all thinking that y'all hearing us, and if we're inspiring y'all in a way for being as young as we are and talking about this type of stuff, I need y'all to understand that stuff like this does take time. Me, I've only been in this business for about, on and off for about a year. Because I started when I was 16, went back to school, finished high school. Right when I finished high school, worked the summer at Bill Miller's, and then right when August hit, went here, right? And I closed 3 deals in the time I've been, four deals in the time I've been from, it was three, my bad. 3 deals in the time I've been since August till February now. It's possible, guys. And if y'all are just starting off right now, if y'all are wholesaling or whatever you're doing, all it takes is one closing or one time for your business to be successful, for you to get that momentum to push forward. And that's just the broad spectrum of it. Like, wouldn't you think that momentum is a very important thing when it comes to these things? Because it's kind of like whenever you start, it's like you can't stop.
So when we're talking about the time aspect, so speaking about that in relation with the momentum, the time begins to speed up once you gain that momentum. It's not going to be an instant turnover. You're not just going to enter a new field, whether it's business or whether it's, any sort of career, and just instantly make money like that. You have to first earn or basically prove your worth. And that's the huge thing. You can only prove your worth to yourself by building that momentum, by reinforcing your schedule, your routines, all the things that you're doing to keep yourself performing at the highest level you possibly can. And then you have to wake up, do it, go to sleep, wake up, do it, go to sleep, and not let the ball drop. Because as soon as you stray away from that routine, you're going to notice new distractions pop up. You're going to notice, you're going to start being pulled away from the activities that you know that you should be doing. And so being in this office alone, not only has my discipline increased, but just my grit. I've been able to keep pushing forward because I know my routine is here to keep me on track, to help me reach my highest potential and to achieve the goals that I set for myself. Momentum is everything. If you don't keep the ball rolling, then you're going to find yourself stuck.
Yeah, and that's really important, guys, that you just got to keep going. All it takes for you to do this is just to do it. Just do it. And you see it all the time at night.
just do it.
Literally, that is so inspirational. All you have to do is just do it. Stop making excuses for yourself. Stop putting all these doubts in your mind, in your head. All that is doing for you is just putting you lower and lower and lower. You want to build yourself up. And the way you're going to do that is just think about what you want to do in life and do it at your fullest potential. But that's all the time we have for today, guys. I hope y'all, enjoyed what we talked about. I don't know when's the next time we'll be on here, but definitely, we'll be back. I'll be back hosting, and Mele's gonna be back here.
Absolutely.
And my name is Tony, and this is
Mele Cruz.
And my Instagram tag, if y'all wanna follow me, ask us any questions. Mine is A1_Tony T0NY.
Mine is Mel356Z on Instagram.
So if y'all have any question, guys, just give us just holler at us and we can answer any questions. But that's all I have for y'all. That's all we have for y'all today. And we'll see y'all in the next one.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you.